Hello, and welcome to the third in a series of live Amazon influencer program, talking to authors. And today we are still talking to Brigid and some amazing authors from her multi-author book, F Motherhood. I nearly said that.
Oh dear. Hi Adaire, thank you for having us.
You're welcome. And how are you?
Yeah, great, thank you. It's a beautiful day and great to be talking to you again about the F Motherhood book and the authors.
It is. It's a lovely series, and I'm really enjoying getting to know the authors in the series. Well, a way of introduction, you are the publisher and also author in the book. Before we get into that, though, I would just like to say welcome to this stream, this live broadcast. We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and also over on Amazon Live. We're also streamed out to over 50 channels of TV on demand via the Binge Network syndication program. And I welcome everybody who is here. Please do pop in and say hello if you have any say hello to we're talking to three amazing authors today, part of this this series, and we'd love to hear your comments and your questions about the journey that these amazing ladies have gone through to be able to contribute to this book. But first, Brigid, let's hear a bit about you. You're going to go. I've said this before, and it feels like I just should press record.
I think I actually say something. I think I say something different every time. Hey, Anastasia, thanks for joining us. Beautiful Anastasia is watching.
Yes, go on.
Yeah, I started the F Motherhood book journey because I thought it was going to be a book that I was going to write. It was going to be my story and my story alone. And I got to writing. I wrote 3 chapters, and I realised that it was actually something that was bigger than me, and then I needed to share it with others. Now, the title is something that is intentionally made to disrupt. So, you know, to make people stand up and go, oh, hang on a minute, can you actually say that? And you can. It's okay, because it doesn't mean that you don't like your children. It doesn't mean that you don't want to do motherhood. It could just mean that you're finding it difficult, or you've come across a traumatic experience. You know, like one of the stories in there is about a stillbirth, and to have that trauma come into your life after you've had 2 perfectly beautiful children, healthy, you know, how do you deal with that? And is that okay to continue to be happy? And to ask the question of, like, my story, where I talk about, is it okay for me to talk about not liking motherhood, which I thought it wasn't. So I didn't talk about it. And that led to, you know, me having some struggles throughout my motherhood and not liking it for 10 years. And, you know, that's not okay. We need to be talking about these things that people don't talk about. And that was why I put the book together. And there's been some fantastic stories come out, and you're going to hear about 3 of them today. And I think that it's amazing to have this resource for new mothers to be able to see that they can take all the advice and do it their own way anyway.
So just tell us a little bit about the cover and how that was designed and
Yeah, sure. So the designer's brief was that motherhood was something that you carried. And he literally put the M on the mother's back. And he's been quite clever. I shouldn't say he, it's a she. She has also been quite clever. I can't get the camera quite right. And done this tightrope situation across here, where the mother's walking a tightrope. She's carrying motherhood on her back. And then over this side, there's a child that's, you know, swinging off the tightrope. And that's what motherhood's like. You know, there's one up here that's, you know, jumping on the letters and stuff. And that's what motherhood is like. It's a juggle and something that you know, constantly walking the tightrope of what can we got to juggle next and what have we got to carry next. So, yeah. Thanks for joining us, Tracy.
Tracy. I saw Tracy last night. She's a friend of mine who lives on the island. So thanks for joining us, Tracy.
How nice.
Please do tap other mothers on the shoulder and say, you need to hear this. You are not alone. So we can share, as Brigid said, and it's okay to feel like we do. And there are other ways of being and doing motherhood that don't necessarily fit into the mainstream way, but it is okay. I love that. That giving ourselves permission to be a mother exactly as we are, rather than how other people think we are. So let's hear some of these stories. We've got Dana in the green room, or the waiting room. So I think what we'll do today is perhaps bring them in one by one, because I love that when we were able to have a conversation, and we'll pop Dana in.
And I would love you to bring Dana in.
Dana, hello, Dana, Dana. A little apostrophe over the A. How are you, darling? Oh, hang on.
We can't hear you.
No,
she's still good. There you go.
It's good.
You got me?
You're good now.
Oh, I'm great. My kids are just biting each other and fighting, so it's just a fantastic day.
A normal day.
Normal day
in motherhood.
Yes, it is. Thanks for having me on.
So good to see you, Dana. Just when you firstly, I'd love to know what came about that you. How did it come about that you became an author in this multi-author book, and like how did you connect, and what prompted you to write your chapter in this book?
So I've always been a writer. I love writing. I love talking. I don't shut up. So I've always had it on the to-do list that one day I was going to be an author. I've got my solo book that's kind of been sitting there for a while, and I've never really done anything with it. I am now, but I always knew that I wanted to get a book out there. And then I saw a post of Brigid's that said, look, I'm looking for mothers who want to share their stories honestly. And then I saw the title and I was like, oh yeah, all right, we're going to do this now. Because for me, like you said, it's not about not wanting to be a mother. It's just being honest about sometimes you just want to say it. Obviously, my children are biting each other right now. Perfect example. It's not all sunshines and rainbows. And as a coach who works with shame, that is my passion, to be able to talk about shame and living without it. Being able to be in a book that was just so honest about the ups and downs of motherhood, and being able to know that, you know, if you share your story, that gets out to a whole bunch of women that might not be telling themselves that might be thinking that they're ashamed of how they're feeling or the way that they want to be doing it, or not measuring up to other people's standards. And just knowing that that was a project that was going to be out in the world, I knew I wanted to be a part of it.
Well, I'm just thinking as you were talking, my daughter said just last night, in fact, I am over this. She said, I don't want to play anymore. And I'm going to get her a hard copy of this book because it's going to be it's okay to feel like that.
Yes, it really is. And then there's no shame in that. Like the number of times I thought, I just want to put you back where you came from. I'm done. I'm finished. You're like those sewing jobs, the projects that are left unfinished because you just get like sick of them and you shove them back in the drawer. I just want to shove my kids back in the drawer and be like, I'll come back to you because I've had enough right now. But you can't, and then it makes you you feel like it makes you a bad mother for saying that. But we're all thinking it. So why not talk about that so you don't put so much pressure on yourself for saying it or thinking it?
Absolutely. So Dana, when you wrote the book, did you do it? We've spoken to a few other authors that had been done in a very compressed amount of time. Was that your story as well? Did that happen?
So my chapter talks about going from being married to going through divorce, making the decision that staying together was not what I wanted for the kids. I had to work through the fact that I was going to share that story, that was my piece, that I was going to be like, you know what? I didn't want to be married anymore. You know what? I didn't want to be in a household where we had two conflicting ideas, parenting styles, weren't the biggest fans of each other. And I had to accept that was something that I wanted other women to be able to hear, to know that it's okay to separate, that staying together for the kids is not what you should be doing. And I had to work through that. So I wrote and dumped it all out in a day, and I looked at my chapter, and then it probably took me a couple of weeks to actually get past that block of, am I really ready to go and tell this story? Am I really ready to say this out loud, to share that piece, to have anyone who wants to read that be able to make their assumptions or judgments, or be inspired by that? Am I ready for that to be out in the world? So I feel like that actually took the most time rather than the actual writing, because I've never had a problem with writing. Sitting down, writing it out, that part's the easy part, because for me, I lived it. I know what happened. I know how I felt. But being able to let it go and submit it and be like, okay, yeah, go for it. Let's do this. That's the part that took the most time.
Yeah. So when you were writing your story and going through that that whole about it's okay to leave, and I'm sure so many people are going to relate to what you're sharing with us. Anastasia is saying, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. It really is important to share these stories, so we do have permission to be able to do these things that are right for us, not for society and for what other people think. And so it would have been, I'm assuming here, but was it for you like a cathartic release of getting it out there? So share a little bit about that, perhaps.
Yeah, writing is incredibly emotional, and while I get tastes of that when it comes to some of the social media posts, like I said, working with shame is my thing, so I post about a lot of really heavy emotional topics anyway, but putting it in a book was an entirely different ball game. Going through, and you'd think that you were getting worried about like your grammar and the way that it's structured and all that kind of stuff. I know that we've heard a lot from people who say, oh, I'm not a writer, I can't put that stuff. That's not the hard part. It's getting through that emotional process. Like I'm writing my solo book now, and I'm messaging Brigid crying all the time, and it's not a bad thing. It's not at all. It's a very confronting process, but the growth, it's like an intensive, the growth that it pushes you through. You could spend years trying to work your way through these feelings that you've had and letting go of stuff. You write a book and it just kicks your ass right through it. You don't have a choice. You're going through this, and you're just going to have to deal with it, and you get that growth on the other side.
I'm just going to just pause that just for one moment, and then I think Brigid might want to say a couple of words, but please do pop over to the Amazon site, which is in the news feed now, in the comments thread below. You'll be able to click that link. Do pop over to Amazon. You can purchase straight from this live broadcast. It's either here or there or somewhere around here, where you'll see a link that will take you straight to the book, and you can just have your own copy. Buy several copies, because there's lots of mothers that we know that need to hear these stories. So please do pop over to Amazon and grab your copy. And if you are watching from Amazon, please do say hi and let us know that you're over there, because we are sort of all in these different places, and we try and we love to connect with as many people as possible for wherever you are, LinkedIn, Facebook, Amazon, or if you're on Apple TV or Roku or Panasonic. It's lovely to have you here. Okay, so Brigid, did you want to?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Dana, the process. You said that the process of writing was okay for you, but what was it like when the book actually came out? Like you'd gone through that process of, or am I ready? And then when the book came out, what was that feeling like for you, to know that you're going to be able to help other women to change their current circumstances, because basically you're granting them permission because you've gone ahead and done it and you're still okay. What was that like for you?
It's been humbling. every time I get a message from someone who goes, I read your story, or I am so inspired, and you're so strong, thank you so much for sharing this, I've been able to do something, it knocks me, not even like I put myself on a pedestal, but it just humbles you to know that, and reminds you that the reason why you're doing it, like, it's not just a matter of, I want to have a book because I want to have my name on something, I want to have a book because it's going to make me famous. It's that idea and that reminder that by sharing your story, by being brave enough to put those feelings and that struggle into words, you are able to impact someone so strong, so deeply, that they were able to go, you know what, I am going to leave. Or, you know what, this does suck, and that's okay. And I'm going to start being more gentle with myself. Like, knowing, because for me, I didn't have anyone telling me that kind of stuff. I sat with my shame for years because it was just me, myself, and I didn't want to talk to people about the fact that I had chosen to get divorced. I hadn't talk to people about the shame I carried about going back to work and being happy about it and not being with my children 24/7. That's just the stuff you don't talk about because you're secretly happy about it, but you don't want the judgment of other people coming down on you. Knowing that there are women out there who, even just by reading those stories, have had that little burst of it's okay, like, that humbles me so much to be able to create that impact in the world.
Oh, what a beautiful answer.
So thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything that you'd like to, I mean, you've really captured it beautifully, Dana. I'm going to go.
Dana.
Dana, with the A, not the A. Dana, beautifully. Is there anything you'd like to share? Anything else that you'd like to share about your journey into the world of being an author and sharing about your own personal experiences? So I'm sitting on the fence here. I'm going, but I feel so vulnerable, and I feel so, what are your words to people who go, I have this thing that needs to get out of me, but I don't know how, or I'm too scared.
Speaking my language there. So if you have this thing that is sitting there and you're like, but I'm scared of the consequences, I'm scared that something is going to happen, you want this. You wouldn't be considering it. You wouldn't be getting excited about the idea about writing. This wouldn't be something you were looking at unless it's something that you want. And that fear of vulnerability, that fear of other people reading your story, that is an excuse. That is a block that is holding you back from being this absolutely unstoppable force in the world. Your story could create such an impact for other people. You are robbing people from hearing your story by not sharing it. You are holding back so many other people. If you're like a people pleaser, or someone who always does things for other people, which I know so many of us are, if you can't do it for you, and you aren't enough of a driving factor to go and put that story out, do it for other people, because that tends to be an easier reason when you're doing it for other people. Not that you should be living, your life for other people, but if it helps you get over that line, think about the number of people that you're going to be able to help by sharing your story. And you'll be surprised. Even if you say, my story's not, that big of a deal, it could be the exact thing that someone needs to hear.
Yeah.
That's so common to hear that too. People think that their story isn't good enough, like they haven't had enough trauma, or they haven't had enough triumph yet, or they're not quite where they want to be yet. That's really good to share the journey, and there's always someone who can benefit from hearing it.
Yeah. Well, Dana, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure to connect with you, and I've really enjoyed, as with all of the contributors to this amazing book, your story as powerful and equally as inspiring. And I thank you for being part of this. And It's just a pleasure to have you here. I'm just going to pop you out, and we're going to talk to Carly in a moment. If I can, there we go. Or is it Kaylee?
No, it's definitely Carly. You had that one right. Oh, dear.
Carly, you've got the mum something on this. What are those words? Oh, hang on.
Oh, she's still muted too.
Yeah, there we go.
Awesome. It's the Mama's Permission movement.
Beautiful. Okay, so the mamas, MUMMA, or the mothers?
Yes.
Mamas. All right, the mamas movement. I just popped that up on the screen. Brigid, you can go.
Yeah, sure. So Carly, tell me, how did you come to be in the F Motherhood book?
Yeah, so that was more of a coincidence than anything. I connected with one of the other authors a couple of years before this, and we've been backwards and forwards and realized that we're very similar. And then she drops into my inbox one day saying, hey, I'm doing this and I thought of you, and a bit of a long spiel about it, but then says, well, what do you think? And connected me up with Brigid. And it was, just from there kept moving and flowing. It was one of those, really synchronicistical sort of things that I wouldn't have ever expected to just land in my inbox otherwise.
And did you think before you joined this process that you were a writer?
I didn't think I'd ever become a writer, but there's always been a niggle in the back there going, I should write a book, or I should do this like writing process and become an author. I've had many people tell me it, and I've had it in the back of my mind, but it was always pushed to the side because I couldn't do that. How could I ever do that? Was always the story that came up. So when this like sort of dropped there, it was that, okay, this is my sign that I've actually got to do this, instead of just going, no, go away now.
You would leaned into it.
Yeah.
And what was your feeling as you did that? Did you sense that? Like,
I was at first excited, and then it dawned on me what I was doing, and I was like, oh crap, what the hell have I got myself into?
I love it. I just want to make a comment here from Tracy. She's saying, yes, I hear you. We hold on to what we should be sharing. Being told don't be greedy really changed things for me. So thanks for sharing that, Tracy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Carly, did you write in a compressed amount of time as well? This is because of the curiosity.
Yeah, so I think I was the first one to actually submit my chapter, and I think when I said yes and I was doing it, I went for a drive like the next week. I went for a drive up the mountains because that's my space to do, like, get out of my own head. And then I came back and just typed it out. Within half an hour, I had it typed out. I sat with it for half the day, and then I sent it because I knew if I didn't send it straight away and if I sat with it, I'd end up changing it that much so that it wouldn't be my story anymore. It would be this choreographed thing that I thought people would want to hear, not what actually was coming through me. So I had to really do it fast and have that momentum. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been what it is today.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So what comes out first is the stuff that's just come from your essence and your being, and then you have sanitized it and measured it against what you think other people's expectations are. Incredibly brave, incredibly amazing. I just want to ask you,
twice. She's doubly brave because she has this many children.
I will talk about that in a moment because, my God, I'd love to know a bit more about the story. But what I've written down here, if you see down here, that's going along the bottom.
Mama's Permission movement. That's correct. Yeah.
Woo! Got it right. So, and we've got Anastasia here just saying beautiful and absolutely. So that many children.
That many, yes, wherever it is.
On one hand. So as the the other authors would have so many stories to choose from to write in a condensed. So what's your story, and why did you choose that particular story to write about?
Yeah, so my story actually was about after I had my third baby and I fell into a really deep depression. I hit that postnatal depression in a way that I hadn't before. And all around me, I was getting told, "Oh, yes, you've done this before. You know how to do this." And I was getting all the shoulds and what I should have been like by this stage, and that I was meant to have it all together. And I was trying to constantly fit this role of being the mother that knew it all, when really I had no bloody idea what the hell I was doing. I was still just as lost as everyone else. And so my chapter really is speaking on that, like going through the postnatal depression, getting to that point where I didn't want to be here anymore, and being like that seasoned pro of a mother and still wanting to be more than just a mum, like it's being okay and taking that permission back to being more than a mum in the end is what it really came down to, and not just being like, it doesn't matter how many kids you have, you're not going to only have that role, stepping outside of that role and doing all you want to in life.
And
it's so true that you really did take what you learned from your third child and that awful process that you went through. It is something that you've taken now, and you actually allow yourself permission to do things that you don't normally do. Like you just went on retreat for the first time, didn't you?
Yeah, I just went on a 3-day retreat for the first time in 10 years that I've been away from my kids overnight. So that was scary and amazing, and the greatest defining moment. And yeah, it's about that giving permission again. Like I'm really embodying what I've shared about, and it was from that defining moment. Like if I didn't start to embody it back then when I had my third child, of giving myself permission to be again, then I wouldn't be here today. That's why I chose that, was because it was a defining point in my motherhood journey. Like yes, having kids is obviously the starting point, but this really defined who I was going to be for them in the future by showing me that I needed to start choosing myself again. If I wasn't going to choose myself and I just kept on putting all this energy out to them, I was a shell of who I was. I wasn't the greatest mother I could be, and they wouldn't have someone there guiding them that actually enjoyed life, so they wouldn't be able to enjoy life either.
Anastasia's saying thank you, congratulations rather, and thank you, because you're a shining example for choosing yourself over and over again. I love this message. It's okay. In fact, it's critical to choose yourself.
Yes.
Because if your cup's empty, you can't help anybody. I just love this so much. So tell me a bit about the Mama's Permission movement. Did this come out of the book?
It did, actually. It's something that's been festering away. I've been trying to work out how to put what I wanted to create for life into words and into a group and create something for a little while now. And then once I started doing the book, it really reminded me that I wanted to help others get their permission slip back and take their permission slip back to be more than just a mum. And that became the whole center around founding this Mama's Permission movement. And it's about like giving yourself permission to want more in life, to be more in life, and to really accept that you can take your own permission slip back to be more than a mum and be who you set out to be, instead of just the shell of who you have become.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So if you had and I love the idea that you're creating a movement, because it's part of something that's much bigger than all of us, which is just, we all band together, and this creates the critical mass that creates the different thinking that gives us the freedom to be us, to parent in the way that is more natural to us rather than against other people's expectations. That's really super, super cool. That's brilliant.
It is, isn't it? And Carly is taking it one step further. She's not just sharing her motherhood story because, we're made up of lots of stories, and we can either choose to, continue those stories and become victims to some of those stories, or we can choose to change our reality. And that's what I like about sharing stories, is that it allows people permission to change their current reality because they can see what's possible through other people's experiences. So Carly's not only contributed to F Motherhood, but almost F Motherhood, but she's also contributing to the next book that the Art of Grace Publishing House is putting out, Intuitive Speaking Her Truth. And also she's contributing to Hear Her Roar, which is for women who have experienced domestic violence in their life and are successful in their own right. And I think that is, an amazing thing for a mother of 5 who is operating the Mama's Permission movement and, has another business as well. And she is, now she's writing in 3 books, and I think that that's amazing. Well done to you, Carly, and thank you for sharing your stories.
When you drop the F-bomb, I understand they're going like this.
Almost.
Carly, is there anything that you'd like to share, like aha moments, or that you've shared so much and given us so much inspiration already, but is there any particular thing that you would like people to know and understand as a result of having an interaction with you, or seeing this, or reading the book? Is there something that you would like the takeaway?
Yeah, so for me, what I would love people to take away from any of the words that I speak is just take away what you hear for yourself and allow that to really sit and drop, and then use it to move forward. Use whatever it is to move forward. Stopping yourself and allow yourself to really embrace what it is your next level or your next version of you needs to embrace, and go for it.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm just going to meet Dana.
Oh, you can hear her.
Carly, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for sharing your inspirational story and the Mama Permission movement. And we will get the authors to pop back and drop your details into the comments thread. So if people want to follow up and catch up with you individually, we fully encourage that. And do you have a Facebook group for the Mama's Permission movement?
Yeah, there is a Facebook group, and it's aptly named the Mama's Permission Movement. It's available. Yeah, just type in the Mama's Permission Movement, or go over to my Facebook page, and it's the cover picture you can drop in, and away you go.
Okay, beautiful. Thanks so much.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, Carly.
Yay.
She is a powerful mama, and
Absolutely.
her stories will resonate with so many, and it's something that she's so young, and with 5 children, I take my hat off to her, what she's achieved.
Yeah, amazing. So inspirational, every one of them. I'm just going to pop the details into the stream again.
I think you've got the wrong picture, because that's got Adriana and Sarah and Linda on it. Although we've already spoken to them.
God, I'm sacking the admin. She's fired. What do I say? Note to self, you're fired. Okay.
Oh dear.
The link is the same. Pop over to Amazon. Get these are the beautiful authors, co-authors of this book that we interviewed. They were the first in the series. So I'm just going to remove that now. I look thoroughly chastised. Let's talk to Renee. Oh dear.
Now, here's a woman who is seriously standing in her power, making choices for her babies and herself that is going to allow her to live a life that she's choosing. And thanks for joining us, Renee.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you ladies today, and I love listening to the stories. It's been amazing so far.
So Renee, Brigid said that you've got a super special, I suppose, what you've done and how you've approached your contribution and how you're managing your life now as a result of perhaps some things that happened. I know I'm being a bit vague, but what I'm doing is inviting you to share how you connected with Brigid, how you were prompted to write the story, and what's led you to being in the situation that you're in right now. So then share that.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot there, and I'll try and keep it as short and sweet as possible. But for me, writing was never on my radar. Like, I've never wanted to be in a book. I love speaking, and speaking is my thing. But yeah, I just seen a lady that I'm connected with on Facebook, and she was in one of Brigid's previous books. And I was just watching her journey, and they went international best-selling. It was an intuitive book as well. And just the hype around it, I was just so excited for her. I've never met this lady. And I was like, oh my God, like, congratulations. Like, you're doing amazing things. And she popped in my inbox. I was just like a hype girl on her posts. I just thought it was so great. And then she's like, you know what, Renee? Like, would you ever consider writing? And I was like, oh, I mean, like, I've never really. She's like, I'll introduce you to my publisher. And I was like, okay. I'm the type of person that I'm like, all right, if it's fallen in my lap, like, I'm curious, like, I'll take a look at it. And so she introduced me to Brigid, and we spoke, and Brigid's like, I have this book and it's called F Motherhood. And I was like, what? Okay, that's exactly how I felt, because for me, going back, I've got a 3-year-old daughter. She's nearly 4, and a 9-month-old son. And I personally also didn't really want kids. I was like happy living my life and everything. But then when I had my daughter, I experienced unconditional love for the first time in my life. And I just awakened this side of me that is who I am today. Like, it's the reason why I do so well in my business. It's because I just feel so worthy of everything that's in my life. And my story into motherhood as well, I thought all my friends breastfed and all my friends did all of these things. And I was told, if you do this, then this is going to be the outcome. But none of that worked for me. None of that happened. My breastfeeding journey was nothing to write about. I wrote about it, and I just worked around the clock to try and get that happening for 10 weeks. And it was the art of surrender. I think that's all the way through my chapter, is that I was being called to surrender. Even my water's broken, I didn't go into labor. 3 days later, I still no amount of affirmations were going to get me to dilate. Like, I was going to do this natural birth. I did hypnobirthing. None of that happened for me. And now I can see that it's a perfect journey, because I can step into my power and know that I know what's best for me. I know what's best for my babies. And that led to writing out my story. And then when I read it back, I realized that for so long, I've been doing everything to please everyone else, even the kids part. I did that because someone else wanted to do that. And which is beautiful. But it was a massive healing journey. And I'm sure you've heard that, speaking to all of the other authors, that when you put it down on paper, you then get to read it back and you're like, wow, I've been through that. I'm going through that. You honor your truth when it's staring back at you. And that led me to deciding that my partner and I, my husband of 7 years, we're no longer aligned. And we sat down and had this conversation, and we've gone our separate ways. And that was when my son was 6 months old. And so we launched the book, and I was really being called to take time off social media as well. So we're in the middle of this launch, and it's big hype around social media. And I did a 6-week breakthrough program. My business is on social media, and it was just so much going on at once. My personal life was breaking down, but I was really up leveling. Like, from an outsider's perspective, my life looked like it was taking off. I was doing all these amazing things, but I was really being called to go within. And so I did that too. So I took time off social media, and I'm still off. I feel like I'm going to be back sooner.
Well, we've got a little sneak peek right here, which is great.
Yeah, but I was like, Yeah, I need to take 6 months off so I can figure out my life. And I booked a truck and I moved, to where my parents are, like 3 hours away. And I just followed my heart for the first time ever in my adult journey. I just really have every call that I get, I answer it. And I just trust that it's all going to work out. And I know being a part of this book, like, the healing journey was so profound for me. This is something that has changed the complete trajectory of my life. And I know even this time on my own, is going to serve me for many, many years to come, because, hey, we're international best-selling authors. I've always got that. And when I come back on social media, I've still got that. I can still share my story. There's still people that haven't heard it, that haven't heard all these amazing stories. So 3 months or 6 months in the grand scheme of things, of me taking some time out, this book is still out there on Amazon and we're still getting it in the hands of people. So yeah, it's been incredible experience so far.
It has. I'll just put this comment up. It's made us, like, if you just go like this, because otherwise we're sort of covered up by the names, but that's okay. Dana is saying, universe doesn't care about plans anyway, and you handle the roller coaster so well. Yeah, that's great. And Tracy is saying, wow, she's a powerhouse, and I love she realized she was doing everything for everybody else after reading her own story. Yeah, that's so cathartic. Anastasia, listen to your intuition. Powerful. You are unstoppable.
Thank
It
you.
takes so much courage to step away from social media on so many different levels. So many different levels.
Yeah, and I really just had to lean into the faith of it, because that's where my business is. And I just had to really lean into, I'm being called now to take this time. And if I don't do it now, I'm going to get this lesson repeat, because it's happened before and I'm not ready to repeat lessons. If I'm taking this step to, do something completely different, leave my partner, move towns, I really need to take this time to get to know myself so I can figure out what it is that I love and I enjoy. So when I come back, I'm showing up as the most authentic version of myself, because how many other people am I pleasing on social media? I don't know. So I'm here to figure that out.
Oh dear. Anastasia and Tracy. I love the work you did and followed your heart. And Anastasia is going, yes, yes, yes. So it's a powerful, powerful message. And your kids, they're still fine.
Well, that's it. Yeah, and you get to teach them. Like I now, like initially I was like, oh my gosh, the impact that it's going to have on them. But you also get to flip your perspective in every situation. There's duality to the bad thoughts. And I was like, I'm teaching my daughter right now that if she's not happy somewhere, she can move and she can make that decision in an instant. Because I love, Vicky's dad, we had amazing years together, but we are out of alignment massively. And that's okay. It happens. We got together when we were babies, and it's so fine to be okay with change and move on and still have love there. Like there's still love there. It's not like I've just, he's dead to me. No, you can still move on with love and create solid boundaries. And then you teach other people, again, Carly's permission movement. You give other people permission to do that with love too. It doesn't have to be all like a bitter experience. And that's something that I've really lent into, that I can still pull my ego aside and make these decisions out of love. And it's no one's fault. It's just my decision. My happiness is the most important thing.
Being the change that you want to see in the world, really, isn't it? Because you're doing it. You're doing that, following your heart, and you're doing the things that are right for you. You're showing by glowing example what it is to be honoring yourself and what your own needs are. Renee, that's really powerful stuff. We've got Anastasia saying take extra time and space just for yourself. I love this. The stories, the messages that we get too often around, the shoulds and the oughts and the things that we, you've just, like you were saying, you've just launched a book, bestseller on Amazon. And now 6 months off social media. It's like, I have never heard of that before, ever.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. That's not compute. And I struggled taking half a day off yesterday to spend with a special friend of mine who's sharing my space here on the boat. And I'm going, oh my God, you're amazing. The world goes on and you're better for it.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful for all of the other like multi-authors. I mean, if we all took time off social media, if we all took time off social media when the book after the book launch, that would not be ideal. So I really am so grateful for all the other women that are still like, you know, honoring that side of them, and everyone's, you know, still showing up, because I still do have those doubts in my mind, like, was this the right time? But I just, I'm not going to do this again. You know, there's going to be times in my business where I'm going to feel like that I need a break, but there'll be different ways to find it. But everything in my life was flipped on its head at once, and you can't do everything. So now from this, I'm going to take the lessons, because I don't want to be somebody that's flaky in business. I don't want to be somebody that disappears when life gets tough, but I also want to teach people that it's okay to take your foot off the brake. So I will, when I'm back, I'm all in, and I will be all in, and I have always been all in, but I knew that this time, and I needed to give it a time frame, that it was just so important, because I've been in a relationship half my life, from when I was 16. I'm now 33. I don't even know who I am. And if I'm coming back on, I want to know who is Renee? What does she love? Like, I want to be showing up for my community and everything in the right way.
Beautiful. So what would be your takeaway for other people that are listening to this and watching this or reading the book? What would be your takeaway, the lessons or the things that you would like other people to understand, and perhaps even just go, oh, well, I've got this permission, or I don't need to worry about so much. Words aren't working. You got to help me, Brigid.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
She gets it.
The lesson that I would give to anybody, and this has been so profound for me, is space is everything. Space in making decisions. I mean, there's going to be times with making this decision, there's like a full body yes, right? Like I said a full body yes to this book, and I remember submitting my bio, and Brigid was like, do you want to try that again? Everyone else got nice feedback, and I was like, I am not a writer. I wasn't, and I was like, oh, okay. But I lent into the full body yes. So you'll know when, like, there's a full body yes and it's scary, but when there's decisions that you're kind of unsure about, or you're getting pressured into, or you just feel like you're unsure, give yourself space. Take some space away from everything, because that's also teaching the universe that you're abundant. You're going to put yourself first, and you're going to let things flow to you, especially as women. Step into your femme power, give yourself some space, become unattached to the outcome of anything. Like of everything. Just go all in and become unattached to the outcome. Make decisions for yourself, and then, like, you cannot F it up.
I'm sure I wasn't that harsh. Like,
no, that was my perception.
And Dana's being funny. At least she got her bio back, because she had to ask me 5 or 6 times for hers back. Renee,
I was just go, Brigid.
I loved how you started your story with "Are we ever really ready?" I think that was actually the title of your chapter, and it's something that you can't explain, that feeling of not being ready. A lot of women go into motherhood being ready. You and I are probably less of the norm, in that we weren't ready and we did it anyway. And I think that that's one of the things that people don't talk about enough. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think same as what Dana said before, there's this shame around that. Like, there's this shame around, okay, like, I'm a woman and I'm at that stage with my partner and I should be ready. And then you, fall pregnant. And then it's just this whirlwind of emotions that start from the time that, for me personally, the time I found out I was pregnant. My whole life changed in that instant, because now I have to think about what I put in my body, and now I have to think about the thoughts that I have, and they weren't ideal. They weren't the same as what everybody else was thinking. So it's like I felt like I was just thrown into this vortex, and I just had to fumble my way through and almost fake it till I made it in some parts of that, because there's a lot of people that were just so happy to be pregnant, or I had friends around me that were struggling to fall pregnant, you know. And so it's like, well, I wasn't even ready for this, but now I have to be grateful for something that I don't even know what's going on. And my body's changing, and I'm not ready for that either. And it's I guess it's the surrender and allowing yourself, for me personally, to grieve and love at the same time. And I think one of the authors spoke about this in that first interview. I can't remember. Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, she's not frozen for me. Not frozen.
Oh, it might be my end. The boat's spinning around. Like,
it was Adriana.
Yeah, Adriana, like just having, like, taking the time to honor the sadness that you feel with the loss of identity, and then still leaning into the love, because it's this whole new experience, but nothing can prepare you for that. Like, and I, like, even the people that are ready, I'm sure they go through all of those thoughts and feelings like, hang on a minute, like, my whole life has changed now.
Yes.
But they don't speak about that because they were so excited to fall pregnant, or they've done IVF for 5 years and now they've got this baby, and the baby is keeping them up all night and they're so angry. So we go through all of these phases, and I think it's beautiful, Brigid, what you've done is bringing us all together to speak about this, because you feel so alone. You feel so alone with those negative thoughts, but you're not. Like Dana said, everyone thinks them. It's just not spoken about.
Yeah. I actually just had an aha moment. That's why I wanted to make it a collaboration, because I needed to find women who thought it was okay for me to have not liked motherhood. That's why I made it a collaboration. Whoa.
I love it.
Yeah, you want it to be heard and seen. And it's beautiful when you can do that in this way of women sharing their stories so unique to them, but the similarities are so, it's crazy. It's just been I felt like this whole time I've been cracked wide open, even hearing stories of women that don't send their kids to school. I was like, what? What do you mean that I don't go to school? Like, and I was so curious and so willing to lean into the uncomfortability of being triggered by wanting to send my kids to school and needing the break, but then also listening into the lessons that I can learn when I do have my kids with me. Do you know, because I need to learn. I've got so much to learn here of that my kids can teach me, and now I'm really embodying that. And I just think that without this whole experience, I would have not had that connection with my kids, because who knows? But it's been I've been cracked wide open in more ways than one. And I just think anyone that's thinking of writing, it's so different to journaling. I've done the journaling. This writing your story and sharing that with the world and just owning all parts of yourself. Siri's asking me a question. Is just so profound. It's so profound. So if you've got this in your realm and you're wanting to do it, and there's an opportunity for anyone, just say yes and figure it out. Like, you'll get good at it eventually.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Renee. Thank you for sharing with us. Just pop you down into the green room and wind it up. Amazing series. I'm just blown away with the quality, the caliber, and the stories, and the honesty and the authenticity that these amazing people and yourself, Brigid, that you're bringing forward to share their stories. It's just, I just keep getting blown away with this. Yeah. Amazing.
I know, and I'm the same, Adaire. It is really, these women who thought that probably half of them thought their stories weren't worthy of sharing, and then they share them, and the impact that they're having in other people's lives is amazing. But to see Renee, who impacted her own life through her own story, is just, you know, my heart just expands when stuff like that happens. It's like, and, you know, you can go, when you do write, like she said, the journaling, it's completely different to having published work that is, you know, it's a legacy. This is never going to go away. This is going to be on Amazon forever. And people are going to be able to read this when she's gone, you know, and it's something that, you know, the children can learn from, your children can learn from, and their children can learn from. And it's just, you know, it's a beautiful thing to have out in the world. And I really do encourage mothers to grab a copy of the book. Adaire has the link there, and read it and share it with other mothers, because, you know, we all need to be lifting each other up, not making each other feel that we're doing some part of motherhood wrong or any part of it wrong. Because, as I said, it's, you know, take all the advice and do it your own way anyway, because you know best. Trust yourself.
Absolutely. And if
be
you
the
just
mother
want
you want to be.
as Brigid said, you can grab. Sorry, did I just speak over you?
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Oh yeah, I come from a family of 8. It's just normal. Don't you know, that's
Got to get in there when you can.
yeah, that and food. Like, yeah. Anyway, it's the link is in the comments threads down here, and you can also see it pop running across the screen. Pop over to Amazon and you can purchase your own copy. Even if you are not a mother, if you are a grandmother, you know, and you are, even if you're a partner, and know that these stories are going to help the mother of your children, get them a copy, because this is so important for our own evolution and our own development.
Yeah, and the other thing that like a multi-author book can do is it can show you where you can find help, because a lot of these women, you know, work with these issues that we have as mothers. And if I had had a book like this, I'm sure my 10 years could have been 2, you know, like it wouldn't have been 10 years of hiding myself and pretending that I liked motherhood and bloody crying when I took him to daycare for the first time, crocodile tears, because I thought that's what everybody needed to see. I thought that everybody needed to know that I wasn't okay with it, when I actually was inside going, this is awesome, the baby's not with me, you know. And he was only 3 months old, and like I was, you know, in this mindset of I've got to do what all they want me to do, not what I think is the right thing for me and my baby to do. And it's a great way to find somebody to help you.
just
absolutely, Adaire, absolutely.
My 8-month-old, and I walked into it. I was in a corporate manager's job, just stepped into it while I was pregnant. And my husband was home unemployed, and he just looked after him. And I'm going, oh, the guilt, the shame, the whole, oh my God, you know. And like you said, it just really triggered something in me when you said they cried the crocodile tears. But after being home with 4 kids, this is my last one, and it was like, I'm actually, after 6 weeks, really, no, I'm not. Well, we can go on forever, but this is fantastic. It's just like those liberating moments where I'm hoping that other people who are in those situations see this side of thing and go, you don't have to cry the crocodile tears. Just be who you are. Celebrate that. Kids
absolutely. Yeah. I love that Carly has said her children have read the chapter and healed from parts of life, which is great, isn't it?
And like you said, it's a legacy that people will leave, and you know, them as parents and their kids, and oh, look what grandma's done, you know. So this is okay. It's healing the world by sharing your story, so we can all heal. So brilliant.
Thank you so much for having us. Thanks for having us. Forward to
popping in tomorrow at the same time with the final 3 authors, but I don't think it'll be the end. I think we will be popping up every so
we'll be back next Thursday with another book.
And so I hope we get another book next Thursday. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Awesome sauce. All right. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.